Hello, everyone. This is Coach Corey Doggs of Action Coach Business Coaching, and I'm excited to have Kathy Henrich, the CEO of MKE Tech, with us today. We call it Milwaukee Tech or MKE Tech.
Well, we go by MKE because of the airport code, because we cover Southeast Wisconsin.
All right, perfect. MKE Tech. In January of 2020, Kathy was named CEO of MKE Tech, the Coalition, a nonprofit organization focused on inclusively doubling tech talent in the Milwaukee region to drive regional prosperity and create life-changing jobs. Since its inception, the coalition has grown from 6 founding members to 125 plus right now. And they collaborate to attract and build diverse tech talent, scale the innovation ecosystem, and connect the tech community. In her tenure, the coalition has launched a startup incubator, corporation innovation internships, apprenticeships, and talent attraction programs. Prior to joining the tech coalition, Kathy has served for more than 30 years in the tech industry, leading $500 million in sales organizations, partnering and consulting with other organizations. She's earned her Master of Science in Workforce Talent Development from Louisiana State University and a Certificate of Data-Driven Consulting from the Kellogg School of Management at Northwestern. Additionally, Kathy serves on boards at M3 Insurance and several nonprofit organizations, including Tech United, Wisconsin Startup Coalition, and Wisconsin Policy Forum Economic Development. In 2023, Kathy was recognized as one of the notable women in STEM by Biz Times Media and also has been recognized as a Wisconsin Titan 100. It's my pleasure to welcome Kathy Henrich to the show today. Hello, Kathy.
Hi, Corey. Nice to talk to you today.
All right. So first question I have for you, tell us a bit about your personal story and journey. Like, where did you start? Where did you grow up? And how did you end up in Milwaukee?
So I grew up in Dubuque, Iowa, went to college at University of Northern Iowa. And, it's kind of a funny journey, actually. In that, I don't know if you read the book Outliers that was recently released, but there are different inflection points in people's journeys, and I think it's relevant. So I worked for the dean at UNI, and IBM came in and was selling things to the dean. And I would have never have known anything about IBM or about the technology industry, etc. But I became intrigued and I became adamant that I was going to work for IBM, including sending, letters to 50 managers in the upper Midwest. I interviewed with over 50 times with IBM before I joined them, even did an internship after I graduated. But long story short, IBM brought me here to Wisconsin and here into the Milwaukee region. But I'm very fortunate because of that chance incident of having IBMers in the dean's office of UNI that I had over a 30-year tech career.
Wow, like a right place, right time type of story?
Exactly.
Awesome. What about your family and hobbies? You want to share a little bit about that?
Married, 3 kids, adult children, and mostly things outdoors, hike, bike, walk, all those kinds of things.
Okay, awesome. What's a funny story you'd be willing to share that your family tells about you?
I really cannot think of a funny story, but they probably would laugh at me for how much I dance. So I have always danced. I dance in the kitchen. I dance everywhere. The kids get involved with me. So it has been some people sing in their household or play instruments. We dance in the kitchen.
Oh, awesome. Thank you for sharing that. Tell us a story about how the MKE Tech Coalition came together, and at what point did you have like the confidence like this thing is going to work? This is going to be pretty cool.
Yeah, so our origin story is a little different in that it originally was conceptualized by Northwestern Mutual, by their CEO, and he it basically got others on board with him, including Advocate Aurora. And when the Milwaukee Tech Hub Coalition was announced in October of 2019, there were 6 original founding partners, including Accenture, who I was working for at the time. And I came in shortly thereafter as the first CEO to build our capabilities here. But what's interesting about that is, you know, Northwestern Mutual and the partners conceptualized a big, bold mission, but didn't necessarily conceptualize the how behind that. And so it's been a very interesting journey to take an initial idea and really build an organization around it, both a business model around it, but also building, the community participation. In some ways, I came in January of 2020, 6 weeks before the whole world shut down. And in some ways, I think that actually helped us move faster. Because all pieces were on the floor, people were willing to spend time with you and envision a better future. And so we were very fortunate to grow quickly and to really lay out what's possible here for the region.
Awesome. I know I did a brief introduction, but I'm sure I didn't do it justice. So tell us more about MKE Hub and what your mission is and what you do.
Yeah, so nonprofit focused on the mission of inclusively growing the tech ecosystem in Southeast Wisconsin, both to drive long-term economic growth and create life-changing opportunities. Within that, the how we do that, there's really 4 big strategy pillars. One is around attraction of tech talent and tech businesses here to the region. The second is around building a diverse tech talent pipeline from early talent to internship to apprenticeships and into reskilling and upskilling. The third is around growing the innovation ecosystem, both in the startup space and also especially around AI today and what we need to be doing to prepare there. And the last but not least is really this, we call it catalytic collaborations, which really is about some of these bigger opportunities, especially from the federal government, and the ability to collaborate with lots of parties in the region to go after those things that can truly be transformational to our region.
Awesome. Well, you mentioned early talent. How young nowadays is early talent in the IT industry?
Yeah, so the early exposure program is K through 12.
Okay.
But most of our focus is really on preparing career-ready talent.
Okay. All right. Tell us a story of where someone pushed or inspired you that just gave you the confidence to go for it.
It's interesting. I was trying to think about this. It actually, my grandfather came to mind.
Oh.
My grandfather, you think about his generation, born in 1907. At that time, girls weren't necessarily expected to do a lot. He happened to be a daughter, he happened to have 5 daughters, but my grandfather taught me everything. I could have been a boy and it wouldn't have mattered. I gardened with him. I used tools with him. We fixed things together. We did everything together. And so I think, I never, ever thought about the fact that I couldn't do something as a girl. And I think that's partially based on role models that didn't care that I was a girl.
Thanks for sharing this. That's awesome. What's been your biggest learning over the course of your career as being a business leader?
Yeah, there's a lot of learnings that come over a 30-year career. I think in this role, though, it's really around the power of collaboration. I'm a firm believer that a small nonprofit is not going to change the world or a region or anything else. What does change a region, though, is with strong vision of where we can go and aligning resources towards that vision. And partnerships have always work, or only work, I should say it that way, when both parties need things from one another. They have skills and capabilities that you do not. And so the one thing about partnerships is you have to be willing to admit what you're not good at, in addition to being able to show what you are good at. And if you can do that well and you align people around a vision, there's a tremendous power in that, in transforming a region.
All right. And then what's been your biggest challenge through the years? You mentioned COVID. Go back as long as you want, as far as you want. But what's been your biggest challenge, and who helped you through it?
Yeah, it's interesting. This type of work is not always understood, and what it really takes, because as just as I mentioned, the ability to go far, it takes a lot of stakeholder management, et cetera, to really get people on board with a vision. And it's not always people's everyday work, right? It's not the role of a business owner to care about big economic development types of topics. And so I belong to a number of peer networks, including being on the board of TECNA, which is the national, I always laugh, but it's a National Association of Tech Associations. Super valuable to being able to really think through this work and how you position it, how you get others on board, et cetera, to that. As well as an organization called the National Talent Collaborative, working on some of these workforce challenges. And I think those peers in similar organizations have been critical to thinking about everything from, how do you tell your story, to, how do you get others on board and help fund this work?
If you had to pick three people in your business journey that you're most grateful for being there for your business growth, who would those three people be?
Yeah, I think I'm not going to name names, but the board of directors in general are absolutely critical. And I think that's true whether you're a nonprofit or whether you're a for-profit business. If you can build a board, a diverse board with lots of different perspectives that you trust, it's powerful, right? To be able to take concepts and ideas and really have a sounding board, and to help you see around corners that you might not have considered yourself. So I would say, leveraging a board of directors, whether you're a nonprofit or whether you're a for-profit, is, I think, a really critical.
Okay, thanks for that. What is the next big thing for MKE Tech?
Yeah, I think there's two. As we think about the vision of the Milwaukee Tech Hub Coalition, I did just say Milwaukee. It really is both around how do we make sure we're prepared for AI, is one of those that's going to be critical to everyone. And when you think about artificial intelligence, we need to be helping the businesses think about how do they adopt that and embed that, et cetera, in order to ensure productivity and maintain global competitiveness. And we need to be preparing talent, because it is such that it will be disruptive to the workforce. And those two have to go on at the same time. So Milwaukee Tech Hub Coalition has made a number of investments over the last several years, starting with an internship program around AI and data, which runs every summer. So it's a multidisciplinary program to expand the pipeline there. The second is around an upskilling program, very in-depth, 14-month, kind of program. Another area is around a talent community. And then on the business supports, we've actually just launched a capability to help startups build AI into their product roadmaps. And at the same time, one to help small and medium-sized manufacturers to be able to really create a strong plan around artificial intelligence and how it gets embedded. So to me, that's a big challenge that we have to be focused on as a region, a state, et cetera. And then I would just say there are some of these trajectory moments. The new Microsoft announcement is one of those on which we have the ability to capitalize. And some of these federal opportunities, we have some, we've been successful in biohealth, energy and water, smart ag, and we have some work are underway around manufacturing, smart manufacturing. So all of those are areas where big collaborations can do big things. We might have a smaller role in that, but that's important, right? Is that we participate and help propel that forward.
Well, and that probably goes back to also the importance of having a diverse, strong board, right? Of all the different channels and networks, because with technology, it touches everything in every industry, and AI is emerging so fast. How do you stay ahead of it? You're never going to be ahead of the curve, I guess, are you? Just keep up with it. And
yeah, and I think it's you know, Milwaukee or Southeast Wisconsin, AI or technology in general is more embedded in traditional industries than what we have as a tech industry standalone. And so because of that, it really is an opportunity to transform traditional industries. And we're uniquely positioned to really do some cool things because we understand the physical world. And if you augment that with the digital world and the data and AI on top of it, we will be transforming industries and technologies. That's an exciting place to be.
very exciting. Yeah, the future's it's crazy where we're at right now with this technology. So it's awesome with a resource like MKA Tech in the area. That's phenomenal for the folks here in southeastern Wisconsin. Last question before we start doing some shout outs is, what advice do you have for business leaders, business owners who are trying to do it all on their own?
Yeah, the reality is you can't, right? And I think everything I have said all along here, whether that is partners, and really identifying those areas of strength and then augmenting yourself with those areas that you aren't, or whether that's a board of directors or collaborators, it is critical that you truly do the introspective work of who do I want to be and what am I going to be good at, and allow yourself to surround yourself with others that can help augment your capabilities if you want to be successful.
Well, you've had an amazing journey and impact over the past 30 years and more to come. Do you have anybody you want to throw any shout outs to thank them for helping you along your journey?
Oh, I mean, there are so many, both from an IBM perspective as well as here in the region. But very thankful.
Instead of naming names, what would you like to say to them?
Okay. Yeah, I would say thanks for believing, right? And I've done some pretty crazy jumps in my career where it wasn't obvious that the skills were transferable. And so I just want to say thanks for believing in my capability and coaching me along the way, because I need it every day.
All right, thank you. So if someone wanted to learn more about MKE Tech and get in contact with you, how would they do that? What's the best way for them to reach out to you?
Yeah, so the website is mketech.org. And if you're looking specifically around AI, it's /AI, and you can go into the programs. There's a complimentary site really talking about the great things that are going on in the Milwaukee region. It's called choosemketech.org. And I'm always available for reach out via LinkedIn.
All right. All right. Well, it was a pleasure speaking with you today, Kathy. Thanks for being on the show.
Thanks so much, Corey.